All right, Mike, listen, I had to laugh as this was going on. It's not a funny situation, don't get me wrong, but having been in this situation on a number of occasions, I don't think people could possibly understand what the lawyers are going through the minute they hear jurors are being excused. Because they've already made a decision. I like that juror, I don't like this juror. Who's back there with the alternates? Who's going to get picked? It changes your psychology because we're so razor thin on thinking of every single little thing. And that instruction that they give them to disregard everything you've talked about, disregard 17 hours of your deliberation, start anew. I know are these one of these things we say to do, but we really know that there's no way it works that way?
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that, Bob, because, it's easy to talk about trials when you read a book and it describes it, but when you've done them like we have, it's totally out of the book. It's something that's improvised constantly. One of the things that really struck me was when he said, I can't tell you the reason why the jurors are leaving. I mean, I understand that. But we don't know how accurate that is because you don't know what came up in the jury room when they're discussing things. And I'm sure the jurors know if there was a personal reason, what it was, because I'm sure they somehow said, I can't stay around here. So I think that sort of is a little bit misleading because it does have an effect on the jurors. And I think that's something that always gives a preservation for something on appeal, especially now when you have two jurors. That's unusual. Usually one juror. But two jurors and an alternate, that's really off the chart.
Yeah, let me just do a follow-up with that because I was thinking the same thing. I've had one, and then maybe down the road there's another one that has a problem and another one, and you're looking at your alternate jurors dwindling. And as a prosecutor, the last thing you want to be doing is having a mistrial declared because you don't have enough jurors. And we've come tight in some cases to literally the last juror. But the two being gone at the same time, I didn't want to go into the world of speculation. The judge did the right thing. He did the instructions that he is supposed to give in order to keep it as clean as possible. So no fault there. But just speculating, the first thing that just popped into my head is you do get jurors sometimes that the experience is so overwhelming to them that they just can't continue. And the judge will probe, will you be able to engage in the deliberative process? And they say, I can't. I'm mentally exhausted, emotionally exhausted. I don't know if that's true, but have you ever encountered that? With jurors?
Of course. I mean, I've encountered that, and not to be funny, with lawyers as well. I mean, everybody thinks this is so easy when you take a step and you're just watching it. But we are involved, and there's so much at stake for everybody, whether you're a defense attorney, a prosecutor, or a juror, that, it's easier to talk about people making decisions than being the person who has to make that decision.
It's like the poem Man in the Arena by Teddy Roosevelt, so true. It's easy to be in the cheap seats. Dina, trial consultant. What are your thoughts here?
I can't believe it's her fourth trial and they've just kind of created an issue of appeal. I mean, for her, this is fantastic because even if she's convicted, I mean, we don't know, like you said, how strong that personal reason is. It could be exceptionally strong and hold up on appeal. But every little thing like this just creates an opening. And for this to be her fourth trial and to have an opening like this, I don't know. I guess she's exceptionally lucky or something like that. But to your point, can they start over? I mean, if somebody has already maybe changed their opinion because of something somebody else said, I don't know if they can necessarily rewind their opinion, but introducing two new people with two fresh opinions just naturally is going to kind of have that ripple effect and create a new conversation among the jurors. So I do agree with you. They can't actually unwind this completely, but it does create a new jury pool, and that new jury may decide something different than the one previously would have.
Yeah, and you know what I also like? Give your notes back, because I bet one of the first things they're going to be doing, they're saying, what was that we had in our notes, and try to recreate the notes. All right, well, listen, I mean, again, the judge does what he does. Trials are not an exact science. That in the real world, that's what makes them very interesting rather than our 1 hour and 30-minute shows that we see that have it all scripted, because that clearly is not what happens in the court of real law. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back on the other end. Please stay with us.